So PM Modi claimed in his Independence Day speech that the BJP had brought the Naxalites to their last legs, which made every citizen of this country extremely happy and proud of the achievement of our government. Then he followed this by making another claim that ideological supporters or the Dimagi Naxals still exist among us and that we need to identify and isolate them. And then I had some questions. First, what does he mean by ideological supporter? Someone who supports or sympathizes with the ideology of Maoist insurgents, believes in their cause, and is on the same page as them. Okay, and this is very concerning, but what is the identification process? How do we find out who is an ideological supporter? If the government, with all its resources, money, and its intelligence, cannot identify them and take strict action against them, what are ordinary citizens supposed to do when he hasn't even given us a blueprint on how to identify them? And how does an ideological supporter or sympathizer let his sympathy be known? By expressing it, because unless he makes it public and expresses it through words or actions, who in the world can know if he or she is a supporter or not? He has to make it known. So, if Mr. Modi is aware of such ideological supporters, why isn't he doing something about them? That is his job. If he isn't making claims that there are ideological supporters, he may know how to identify them and may have identified some already, so why is he not taking action against them for supporting a terrorist organization? It's concerning to every citizen. If the so-called Dimagi Naxal is walking among us, we should ask the government to do something, since they are the ones making us aware of their existence. We had no idea before the speech of Mr. Modi. We just woke up excited on our 80th Independence Day and tuned into the speech of our Prime Minister, and we learned about the existence of Dimagi Naxals. We were of the opinion that our beloved government had brought the Naxalites to their knees, and were proud of that fact. And now we come to know that the battle isn't over, as the ideological supporters are still walking free. So, are you telling me that when I step out of my house every morning, or even inside my house when I wake up every morning and wish my mom and dad a good morning, I should be suspicious and vigilant, as they might be ideologically supporting the Naxals? When I step out of my house, the taxi driver that I pay for a ride, the vendor I buy vegetables from, the bank employees who handle my account, the strangers I walk past, the people I sit next to on public transport, the person who delivers my package, the person who delivers my food, the one who flies the plane, the doctor who operates on me, anyone among them could be an ideological supporter, and I would have no idea since he hasn't told us how to identify them. Let's assume there is an ideological supporter right now having dinner at his home. How can even the creator of this world let us know that he is a supporter if he never expresses it? He has to talk about his support and love for that ideology with his friends, family, girlfriend, wife, or kid, and he has to share his sympathetic thoughts and support on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or X. But the government has the power to monitor these platforms. So, if that person is publicly making claims that he has full support for the Naxals and that he will help them in any way he can, why isn't the government taking any action against him? If he is secretly supporting them and financially assisting them, why aren't the intelligence agencies hunting him down? It's the job of the government and not ordinary citizens. The Prime Minister also asks us to isolate them, but we can't even identify them properly, so how would we isolate them? And what does he mean by isolate them? Should we file a complaint against someone we know who tells us he supports the ideology of the Naxals? But then why would someone tell us if he knows he will get into trouble? Or should we isolate them by breaking any friendship we have with them? If we have any suspicion, break up with them, block their number, remove them from our Facebook friends, unfollow their account, Instagram account, unsubscribe from their channel, dislike their posts. How exactly should we go about isolating them? The Prime Minister should have obviously made this clear to us ordinary citizens. Can anyone be labeled as a Dimagi Naxal? So one is reading a book about Mao Zedong, Maoist insurgency in India, the Naxalbari uprising, or Charu Mazumdar in public. Can you just label them Dimagi Naxals for reading about it? So one is curious because they never heard of this word Naxal and they're reading about it. So they research this on their Google or Chat GPT. Are they also Dimagi Naxal? Is the label gonna be used to attack critiques of the government? Anyone who criticizes the policies of the BJP, its leaders, and the statements made by them, will they be labeled as a Dimagi Naxal or urban Naxal? The one who exercises their constitutional right to assemble peacefully without arms, guaranteed under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause B, will he also be labeled a Dimagi Naxal or urban Naxal? If not supporting the ideology of the BJP gets you labeled as a Dimagi Naxal or urban Naxal, does that mean that, barring the population of the 293 Lok Sabha constituencies of India that voted for the NDA government in 2024, the remaining population who did not vote for them, the remaining 250 constituencies, and the millions of people from those constituencies, are they all Dimagi Naxals if they are critical of this government? Are the opposition leaders also Dimagi Naxals who represent those people who will never be labeled as an urban Naxal or a Dimagi Naxal? The blind followers or the unbhuks of the BJP are the only people on this planet who can never be Dimag in Naxals because they don't have Dimag to begin with. They abuse anyone who is critical of Mr. Narendra or Mr. Damodar Das or Mr. Modi, and anyone else who exercises his intelligence to formulate an opinion that is not pleasing to their ears is labeled an urban Naxal or Dimagi Naxal. The Andhbhakt doesn't have to worry about anything, even if he doesn't understand what urban Maxwell is. He will be the biggest political critic, and his finger will be more powerful than Joseph McCarthy's, which he will point at anyone who is critical of the BJP and label them as urban Naxal or Dimagi Naxal. Anyone with a Dimag will be labeled as a Dimagi Naxal by the Andhbhakts, who are sometimes not only unaware of the word Naxal but have no clue about the term Dimag because they never use it. They think it's just another word and not an organ. So just be a blind follower, worship the people you are employing and paying their salaries with your taxes, but don't dare question them, criticize them, or hold them accountable for their promises, and you are safe, my friend, from being labeled an urban Naxal or Dimagi Naxal.